Welcome to the Caswell Cooke Show. Today we have Tom Wopat on the show. Tom,
peace.
How are you?
I'm good.
Tom just got done doing a show. We caught the show. We've actually seen you perform a few times now, and I love the album Wopat that you've been promoting for the last year or two. Tell me about that album. I know you got some originals, you got covers, like you got a Bruce Hornsby song on there. What do you got on that album?
Oh, we got a bunch of different stuff. You know, Bruce, we covered actually The Way It Is, but we made it a little bit of an R&B feel to it. And there's John Hyatt tune on there that's really good, a Paul Simon tune. We just had a lot of interesting stuff. There's a song called Empty by a guy named Ray LaMontagne or something. Yeah, and that was an eye-opener for me. But the John Hyatt cover, I think, is probably my favorite cover on the record.
So your first record that you put out was 83, and it was called Tom Wopat.
Yeah, right.
So do you feel kind of like full circle with 35 years later Wopat?
I think I'm going to do another record this year. I'm just going to call it
Tom
Wopat again. I don't know, you know, just because I'm going to cover stuff like we're going to do that James Taylor tune that we did, Copper Line.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a nice?
Awesome.
It's such a nice groove.
I don't know. So what is Copper Line? I was listening to you tonight sing the lyrics.
Copper Line is like the name of a. It's like the name of a hollow, you know, like
I got you.
Like one of those kind of box canyons that they have in North Carolina.
Hercules and a hog-nosed snake.
Hercules is a dog. Yeah.
And then there's the snake.
And the hog-nosed snake. Wow. Well, the dogs always get into the snakes, but no, I just think, you know, James writes stuff that's so evocative, and there's specificity to it, and yet it just really creates a mood, and you know the groove of that thing. He did a tour and an album with a guy named Larry Goldings, piano player, and it's just amazing. That's really we cop that kind of. I mean, I can't play like James, but to finger pick a song for me is I don't do that. And it was one that I just really, really love the groove of it.
It's funny you bring up James Taylor, because on our show 20 years ago we had James Taylor. We went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the day he got inducted, and McCartney inducted him, and we got to go.
Oh, Jesus.
The Caswell Cooke Show got to be there. So I'm watching all these reporters in the room, and they're asking these questions, these same questions over. So when's the new album coming out? Next year. What will it sound like? Will it sound like the old album?
New one.
He does now, yeah. But he says it's going to sound exactly the same as the other album. Like he was so like, he got really, it was like these reporters asked the same questions.
It gets old.
It does. So tell me about County Line. That was a movie that you did last year that was awesome. You played a sheriff.
Yeah, I played a sheriff. I tell people it's kind of like Walking Tall, the Buford Pusser movie. And it's it's a guy who loses his job and his wife in the same month, and then a year later, things have kind of gone to crap in his county. So they kind of prevail upon him to put things back in order.
And you played a really good heart attack.
Oh well, I had a pretty good heart attack there. Yes. Well, the gal scared me to death with that shotgun.
It was a good movie.
No, it was a nice piece. It was done by the Inspiration Network, so we didn't get to cuss at all, but. I had a lot of fun. They were really a good group.
Now, tell me about this really cool show you were on like a month or two ago. You were on Madam Secretary.
Oh, yeah.
It's the final season.
Yeah.
So, Taya Leone, right?
Right.
So, tell me, like, you get a call one day and they say you want to play a senator on Madam Secretary. Really?
Yeah.
So, how did that go? So
they say, you'll get so much for, you got a couple days of work. And I worked one day with her and one day with Tim Daly.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I hadn't done any TV in a long time. And they run a nice show.
Well, you did a few years ago Blue Bloods.
Yeah,
that's a great show. And I saw some stuff you were on, even back in the '80s when you were on Murder She Wrote.
Oh God, yeah, I was on Murder She Wrote. I was on Fantasy Island.
Okay, tell me about that. Every actor in the world got to do that. I mean, that must have been awesome that you were on that show.
I was part of the flashback. It was a guy who was trying to find out about his father in the Second World War. And I was his father, so I was the leader of a squadron of fighters. So
Did you get to meet Ricardo?
Oh sure. In Hervé, I knew quite a bit. We had the same manager for a while.
That's cool.
Yeah. No, I mean TV is TV. I don't mind doing it. Don't have any real desire to get in another series. And they wouldn't, at my age, the way that things run, it's not like I'd be featured. If somebody came up to me with a featured role to do that, I would do.
But I mean, to get called and to be on a show that's as popular as Madam Secretary,
yeah,
still feel good.
That was cool.
Yeah. Now, the first thing on television that you did was a soap.
I guess probably. Yeah. I mean, I was on a soap for a couple of days and walked out of the room to go look at a birthday cake, and it's the last you saw of me. I was for 2 days or something like that. Back then, when I first started in New York, I did some commercial stuff, and I did a couple of little TV things. But then I got cast off Broadway pretty quick. And I was actually on Broadway within 6 months of being in New York.
And you've been nominated twice for a Tony.
Yeah.
So what were the 2 times in the '90s and in the first?
Well, the Annie Get Your Gun with
Yep.
Bernadette, I got nominated for that. And then there was a show called A Catered Affair, and Harvey Fierstein wrote the book for it. And I got nominated for that in 2008. It was nice to be nominated. I hated losing. They say nomination's the important thing. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Not that I know. But so tell me about that. So people, you watch the Oscars, you watch those award shows. You're sitting there and they have the 4 or 5 nominees. What are you feeling in your stomach that night?
I thought I'd win. Especially the first one. Especially Annie Get Your Gun. I thought I'd win.
Do you have a speech ready, or were you going to wing it?
Nah. I would wing it.
Yeah.
I mean, Bernadette was right there, so that's pretty easy.
That's true.
I got to open that show too.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a cold open. So it's like the 1999 Tony Awards. There's no business like just cold, with no note or anything. They were supposed to give me a note from the pit, but I didn't get it. So I pulled it out of the air.
Tell me about your singing. So you obviously it's a passion. I mean, watching you when you do your concerts, I can't tell what your love is, because you're doing some stuff from the '60s that you grew up on. You're doing show tunes. You're doing like swing stuff.
I do anything that moves me in a certain direction. I mean, the American Songbook stuff. I mean, some of that stuff, the lyric is so good. I mean, there's reason it's American Songbook. Mm-hmm. Those are some of the best songs of the 20th century. More and more, I do more pop stuff, like the Joni Mitchell tune.
And the stuff that was on Wopat.
Yeah. And some of that, and I do whatever moves me. I think, like, I'll do 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. I love that song, and I'll do anything that I can relate to the lyric in. And some of it's just foolish bullshit.
Right.
Some, like Twisted.
I wouldn't say that.
What a great lyric that is, though, too. My analyst told me that I was right out of my head. And that's purely, she wrote that taking the melody totally from a jazz solo, and I don't know what the jazz solo is. That's Annie Ross who wrote the lyric to that. So, I do stuff that gives me a vibe. The Joni Mitchell gives me a vibe, My songs, I find a place that I really like in them to do what I do. I like things, we skipped one tonight that I was going to do, Someday Baby, the Delbert. And that's just, that's a kick-ass groove. That's a country blues song. And we haven't, this is like the 3rd gig I've done with Mark. And so we have things we have to refine.
Piano player extraordinaire.
He did a really nice job. And it's not easy because we do such a wide range of material. Rolling Stone.
Right.
But it's a great song.
It is a great song. Now listen, you started out in the '80s and you had legit hits on the country charts.
We had top 20 stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you had stuff that was great, and but you kind of just, when was it that you said, what got you into country?
Well, I'll tell you what. Country at the time was MOR. When I got into recording, it was like right after Urban Cowboy. So country was middle of the road music then, if James Taylor would have come along there in the 80s, or Carole King, or Joni Mitchell, they might all have been country people,
Right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a natural fit for Dukes.
Right.
And John had some success there. John had #1 songs, a couple of them. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed writing some of that stuff. I had a top 5 hit with an Earl Thomas Conley song.
Not Enough Love
No.
was another one that was.
Oh God.
Wasn't that a good one?
Yeah, I don't think that did much.
See, I think
Things
you poo-poo some of that stuff he did.
Well,
it's
there's
great
also
stuff.
I did a gig over in Jamestown, and this guy had put together a track of stuff from all the old records, and there were songs on there. I go, oh shit, I forgot about that, and altogether I forgot about that. There's some good stuff. I'd like to go back and revisit some of that stuff. But when I did Annie Get Your Gun, and they asked me to do like a Sinatra-ish record, The Still of the Night was what I did, and I did it with Russ Titleman, and they spent $250,000 on it. So that's a really lush and beautiful record. And the more I worked on it, the thing was, actually, between us, I've had 4 record deals, never made a dime off any of them.
Really?
Yeah. So then I started making my own records in 2005. The Arlen record was my first record. I spent $25,000 making it, and I probably made it 25 over what I spent on it. And I've made money on every record since.
Because you can control it.
I own them.
Right.
I make them for $2 a piece. I can sell.
When he's cheap, he sells a lot of stuff for $10, folks.
It works for me. I don't care. You know, the more CDs I get out there, like a place like this, if I sell 30, 40 CDs, if I come back here at Christmas time, you might have 100 people in here.
Mm-hmm. Grandma, she's dead now. No, actually, she's in Florida. No, wait a minute, she's dead. But she would have been very happy with the Caswell Cooke Show, and I wanted to stop and tell you about our sponsors for just a minute. You know, I don't think it's often that a person who's doing a TV show actually knows the people who are sponsoring personally. I've been going to Dr. Campbell since, 1999, so for 20 years I've gone to him, and whenever I've had an issue, or even when I don't have an issue, I get checked up by him. I swear by chiropractic care, and the best chiropractor around is Dr. Campbell, and he's right in Dunn's Corners across the street from Walmart. 322-8822 is his phone number, and I recommend Dr. Campbell highly. He's worked on me, my wife, my children, and he's done a great job. What do you think as far as, if you had to pick, say, all right, I could be on stage, I could be, you said TV series isn't your favorite thing, or I could be in a blockbuster movie. Where's your passion?
The movie stuff is great because it's it's a one-hit wonder. You go in there, you do your thing, and you're done. Mm-hmm. That's County Line was the most fun I'd had since Dukes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Django was a lot of fun, but that was one day.
Django? How do you say that?
Django.
Django.
Yeah, you don't even.
Quentin Tarantino.
You don't have to. It's not even a soft J. It's Django.
Django. And you played a U.S. Marshal.
Yeah.
You were awesome. You came out.
Gil Tatum.
That's it.
That's right. I want a buckboard over here. I want 12 rifles up there. Get that out here. Anyway.
So when you work for someone like Tarantino, obviously a huge guy in the business, when you come on the set, does he tell you exactly what he wants you to do, or does he give you freedom?
Well, in this particular case, it's a little bit odd with us because back in the day while we were doing the TV series, he was studying with James Best, the guy who played the sheriff. Mm-hmm. So he would come up and be in James's class on Thursday night, and he would sleep in the classroom and then come to Warner Brothers the next day and hang out on the set.
Really?
Yeah, Jim would get him a pass.
So he was like a kid? Or?
It was 18, 19.
Ah.
Yeah. So he knew us from that, and he's always been a big guy for, featuring, shit. I can't remember anybody's name anymore.
But lots of people.
Yeah, a lot of TV people he puts in his films
Yeah.
and uses them a lot. And it was so much fun. It was great. And it was a deal where actually the audition I did, because it's a one-trick pony, this guy. I'm the setup for the gag line. Mm-hmm. When he says, you owe me $200. When I think I'm going to put him in jail and get him hung. Mm-hmm. And Christoph Waltz finally says, you owe me $200. This guy was a cattle rustler. So I did my audition exactly the way I would have done, we do the speech in the movie.
Right.
So then basically the same outfit, all black, all my own stuff with my black boots and black hat.
You can say shit around YouTube.
Yeah, okay.
Stuff, so we're good.
Anyway, but
so now,
but if there's very little subtlety to that part. The most subtle thing I did was spit.
Obviously, a lot of success that you've had is because of the Dukes. I mean, let's face it, you were on this huge show for how many seasons? 5, 6?
7.
7 seasons.
Parts.
What was it like, sort of, when you got the show, did you think it was going to be anything? And then when did you realize, holy crap, this is a show?
Well, you never really have any idea about that. I mean, we knew right away that it was a hit. And when it first showed, it was top 20. And because there was nothing else like it.
Right.
And it really was a singular show. We knew it was a big hit pretty early on, but I mean, we were all kids. I mean, John was 18. I was 27. I'm almost 10 years older than him. But when I got the part, I was like, oh God, but I just had a lead on a Broadway show. And I thought that's really where my future was. Probably would have won a couple of Tonys if I'd been lucky. But
you were still lucky.
Well, we had a blast doing it, and I've had a blast doing everything since.
What does it do to when you have a show that's that highly rated? What does it do to your daily life? I mean, everyone's probably saying,
Nah,
hey,
not too much.
It didn't even then?
Not really then.
Wow, that's good. So you were able to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, you get hassled a little bit, but not bad.
That's good.
Yeah, and it wasn't like there was no social media, none.
But there was the Inquirer.
We didn't really do anything that would invite anything other than sue Warner Brothers.
Well, thank you for taking time to be on the show, and I wanted to tell you that before we end the show.
It's a Modelo Negra. It's a Mexican beer that I like very much. This is my only one of the night.
And we're hoping that they're going to become a sponsor of the next episode. No, but so you played in our hometown where this show is broadcast from, Westerly, Rhode Island, Misquamicut Beach, and you did a great show last summer, and we're hoping to bring you back next year. But while you were...
Man, you're covered with paisleys.
You just noticed it.
You are so stylish.
Well, my wife bought the shirt for me. It's not really me.
Oh, okay.
It is me. I mean, I didn't actually do the thing. She bought it. Thanks, Christine.
Top notch, babe.
One time I interviewed Peter Cetera from Chicago.
Right.
He was dressed really hip, and I had this yellow shirt. He's like, I said, well, you're still cool. I wasn't saying anything about his age, anything. He goes, well, look at you in that yellow shirt. And I'm like, oh, this interview's going. But anyway, so while you were on stage, so the thing about Tom,
I interviewed Peter Cetera too.
You did?
I did. I had an interview show on the Nashville Network back in the 90s.
Wow, and he never wanted to talk about Chicago, obviously, but then he finally got around to it.
He was cool.
Yeah, I thought he was
good.
good.
Jason Scheff took his place?
That's right.
Yeah.
Holy, this guy's good. And now
Jason
Scheff
Scheff's
is gone,
dad,
too.
he is.
And Jason Scheff's dad was with Elvis.
Elvis.
Wow. He knows his music. So
I know like two things.
he's on stage. Well, so most artists, when they come to play, over the years we've discovered this, they want either like red M&Ms or they want a certain type of soda or whatever. And this guy was really cool about everything. So we didn't know what to put in his trailer. And so we put some Doritos and different things like that.
I never got into the trailer.
Well, that was the funny thing. So while he's on stage, I said to the rest of my band, don't go in Wopat's trailer and don't touch his food. Well, the guitar player for my band went in and stole his Doritos. And a friend of mine, the bass player, took a picture of him in the Tom Wopat trailer stealing Tom's Doritos and caught him red-handed,
This is the high point.
eating the chip. And so we wrote a song that someday we're going to debut.
All right.
Called Wopat's Doritos.
There you go.
So he's in trouble.
That's really sad. You're digging deep for material, man. That's a long reach.
Well, I tell you what, it came instantly.
Wopat's Doritos. All right, I'll check it out.
Thank you very much, Tom, for being on the
Peace
show.
out. My pleasure, man.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Gets on, never saw me in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, climbing the hills, solo just because. About a hand for Peter Grant on the drums. John Arbo on the bass. Still be fighting the system like to modern day Robin Hood. Oh, baby, yeah!
Now, friends, that was one hazardous interview. Y'all hang tight now.